This is the story of a boy who was never noticed by anyone at his school. He was tired of being someone who never gets to be in the spotlight, but little does he know that his life is going to change drastically. It takes a 90-degree turn and he becomes the most popular of them all. Let's see how he manages to pull it off. Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2013 movie Ant Boy. It's time to recall, let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts and we are introduced to the main character Pelle. Pelle is a normally introverted person who is really shy and has no friends at all. He was never able to get the spotlight anywhere and just tends to stay low everywhere he goes. He is like the most unnoticed person in his class. We then see another student named Amanda. She is his classmate and Pelle has a huge crush on her. However, she is nothing like him. She happens to be the most popular girl in her class. On top of that, she doesn't even know that Pelle exists. Amanda has a sister named Ida who is also in the same class, but she is nothing like Amanda. She is outspoken and does not behave appropriately all the time as her sister does. One day, Pelle was sitting outside when he hears something. He goes on to see what is going on out there and finds two students picking on a boy. He does not know what to do without getting himself in trouble, so he just goes on to throw the apple at them. Much to his dismay, he was spotted by the two boys. Bullies start chasing him, and after a bit of running, Pelle hides behind the bushes and manages to escape the boys. While he sits there, an ant crawls up his leg and bites him. He just thinks that it's a normal ant bite and does not make much of it. After he makes sure that the bullies have left, he comes out and sees an old house. As he stands there, the same ant crawls up his neck and bites him again. Its effect is different this time. After being bitten, he starts to feel dizzy and falls to the ground. He then sees someone coming to him, but he goes unconscious before he is able to recognize the person approaching him. He wakes up after a few hours and is a little weirded out to see that it is night already. He right away gets back home and goes to sleep without even eating anything. He then sees weird dreams. He sees ants everywhere and they're swarming him. Pelle wakes up and he is scared, thinking that something bad is going to happen to him now. When he wakes up the next morning and goes to the bathroom, he sees his lips and they look like he has been eating chocolate. As he goes out of the bathroom, he sees wrappers of snacks and sweets out there, and they are in large numbers. When he is having breakfast, he tries to pour the milk, but the box sticks to his hand. The box is so stuck to his hand that his father takes it off him. After this, he tries drinking his juice but ends up shattering the glass into pieces the moment he grabs the glass. Despite the fact that his parents are extremely weirded out by what is going on with their son, they still let him go to school. When he is in sports class, he tries to open the door but ends up breaking it inadvertently. He has become really powerful now. When he is practicing with his instructor at school, he even knocks him down. When he is on his way back home after school that day, his classmate named Wilhelm comes to him. We learn that Wilhelm is the one who was being bullied by the two boys the other day. Wilhelm is really impressed with how powerful Pelle is, and he goes on to thank him for saving him the other day. Wilhelm goes on to ask Pelle if he possesses superpowers, but Pelle tells him that this is not the case. They then spot a man staring at them and get weirded out by how his appearance is and how he is staring at them. Pelle right away goes home. Then we see the same man reading the newspaper as he reads some news about Amanda's father. Amanda's father is the director of a biomedical company known as Exo Farms. The next day, Pelle goes to see Wilhelm and tells him all the unusual things that have been going on with him after he was bitten by an ant. Wilhelm happens to be fascinated by superheroes and he is really excited to learn about the things going on with Pelle. He takes Pelle to his house. The boys go on to conduct different experiments to see if Pelle possesses superpowers now. After they have conducted all the experiments and have gotten satisfactory results, they go on to design superhero costumes for Pelle to wear while he is fighting bad people. Pelle and Wilhelm then go to a parking lot. It is a dark place and it happens to be the favorite place of criminals. It is famous for crimes. As they wait for some criminals to show up, they decide that they are going to call Pelle an Ant Boy. Wilhelm feels hungry and goes to get something to eat, and Pelle is left alone in the basement. After a while, Pelle hears a woman calling for help as she is being mugged by someone. Pelle decides to save the woman right away. He takes off his other clothes and he is now in his Ant Boy costume. The robber thinks that he is just a kid who is pretending to be a superhero. The man then goes on to mock him and Pelle gets scared. He starts walking backward as the mugger approaches him. As he steps back, he reaches the wall and starts to crawl up it just like an ant. This scares the mugger. This is when he comes to realize that the kid is not just fucking around and that he actually has some superpowers. The man then decides to get away and tries to escape, but Pelle is lightning quick, so he easily ends up beating his ass down. When Wilhelm returns with food in his hand, he sees some police officers taking away the robber. Pelle then talks to Wilhelm and tells him everything that went on between him and the robber. Pelle then tries to show his skills to Wilhelm. As he tries to crawl up the wall, it does not work this time. When they get back home, Pelle is a little upset and confused about his failure to crawl earlier in the basement. Wilhelm then goes on to suggest something as he tells Pelle that he thinks Pelle lacks some energy and goes on to ask him to eat some sweets. Wilhelm then goes on to make some changes in his costume. He adds a belt in which he can keep sweets and also makes a compartment for the cell phone so that he can make contact when he is fighting. Time goes by and Ant-Boy is now famous. Pelle keeps helping people who are in trouble, and everyone in his city now knows something about this Ant-Boy lurking around the city saving their asses. His identity is, however, hidden as he has not told anyone about his powers except for Wilhelm, of course. The teenagers and children are now his fan, and all of them want to be like him. Pelle, who used to be the most unnoticed person in his school, is now the most famous kid in the whole city. One day, Wilhelm advises him not to enjoy his fame too much, as real superheroes do not really care about these things. They only care about helping people and saving them from getting into trouble. Pelle listens to his advice, but does not really act upon it. The scene then changes, and we see Amanda sorting out some Ant-Boy posters. She is then startled by the loud music coming from Ida's room. Ida comes to her room when she is called out for being so loud, and when she leaves, Amanda is startled by a man standing by her window as she sees his reflection in her mirror. She turns to look at the man and is scared to death as she sees him. She lets out a loud scream as she sees him. Ida hears her sister screaming and rushes back to her room to check on her, but by the time she gets there, the man has already gone and he has taken Amanda. The next day at school, Pelle is really sad when he learns that Amanda is not there. After a while, all the students spot someone hanging from the roof of the school building. Ant-Boy quickly crawls up to save the person hanging, however, he finds out that it is nothing but a doll and that he has been pranked. It, however, turns out that this was Ida's doing so she can make the Ant-Boy appear and have a chat with him. Ida then goes on to show him a video of Amanda who is trapped in a glass box. Amanda has asked for the Ant-Boy to come and save her. Ida then goes on to tell Pelle about a guy named Flea. He is the one who has kidnapped Amanda and sent the video to their father. The kidnapper has demanded $20 million and also demanded that Amanda's father step down as director of Exo Farms. Pelle has a crush on the girl who has asked him to save her, and there could be no better opportunity for him to impress her. He tells Ida not to worry about it as he is going to save her sister at any cost. Then we see Pelle taking Ida to Wilhelm's place, and Wilhelm is not too happy about that because they had decided not to reveal the secret to anyone. They then go on to watch the video of Amanda again. When Wilhelm suggests that Ida's father looks like a villain, an argument starts between them and the Ant-Boy calms them down. Ida thinks that the kidnapper is someone who wants to take over her father's company. She then goes on to add that she does not know much about the company except the fact that it produces medicine that is used for some incurable diseases. They then find out that Pelle has a strong sense of smell as he smells a necklace of Amanda. They now start looking for her and arrive at the same place where Pelle was bit by the ant, and there is that old house as well. Ant-Boy goes on to enter the house and gets to the basement. Down there, he finds a lab. As he looks around, he finds a glass box, and in that box, Amanda stands. When he tries to get her out of there, Flea appears and captures him in another glass box. We learn that Flea is taking revenge on Amanda's father as he ruined his life. He recalls how he used to work at her father's lab when he was conducting an experiment on ants. He made a cure and used it on his sick mother, and she got healthy again. But he was then fired by Amanda's father as he was threatened by Flea's talents. His mother also died and he was ruined. So now, he wants to destroy both Amanda's father and his company as well. He reveals that he has been working on blood-sucking headlouse species. Flea is now really powerful after he has successfully made the serum. He can fly, however he has to keep drinking blood if he wants to maintain his energy. This is when Ant-Boy learns that the ant that bit him was actually clinically modified by Flea. Flea then goes on to tell Pelle that Amanda does not like him for him, she actually likes the Ant-Boy. He goes on to add that he himself is still a nobody as he has always been. It is Ant-Boy who is famous, not Pelle. Wilhelm, on the other hand, listens to everything Flea has been talking about and calls the police right away. Flea right away flies, and the police are unable to do anything to stop the man. Pelle is now disappointed and he stops being the Ant-Boy as he was unable to save the girl he likes. Wilhelm advises him not to just give up like that, and Pelle starts being a jerk as he goes on to give him his mask and dares him to save the world on his own. When they are at the school the next day, Flea attacks the school. Pelle is done being a superhero, so he does not do anything and lets the police do their job. Wilhelm then decides to face Flea but ends up getting abducted by him. Learning that his best friend is in trouble, Pelle goes to save him, and upon looking for him, he finds him tied to a tree. Just when he frees Wilhelm, Flea appears and the two kids get away and make a plan to put an end to Flea. Pelle discards his Ant Boy costume on the ground to trick the villain. When Flea is distracted, Wilhelm sneaks up on him and opens the cap of the blood container. Pelle is now ready to put an end to him. He fights the man and defeats him. The police also arrive there and Flea is arrested. Pelle then goes on to see Amanda wearing his costume. She leans in to kiss the Ant Boy, but he asks about Ida. Ida tells him that she is well aware that he is Pelle and goes on to promise him that he is going to keep his identity a secret. In the last scene, Pelle pets his dog when Wilhelm comes to him and they discuss a new costume and also the possibility of another superhero living among them. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.